You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the Sledging Room. So before the podcast started, we're dropping the 60th episode, by the way. 60 always, 50, 60, they always have a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Nice round figure. 60 episodes of the Sledging Room. Wow, we've come a long way. 1 year back, about more than a year back.
Yes.
When we started rolling with the Sledging Room, and I remember the first episode that we shot. We started talking about Virat Kohli and his lack of runs across formats. Times have moved on. I mean, Kohli started to just build his momentum again in a World Cup year. All looking good. Tricky pitch.
Is your conscience clear?
Tricky pitch,
Over
tough
the last
opposition
60 episodes.
in Dominica, and Virat Kohli's invaluable 76
You're
runs.
shying away from the question.
What?
Is your conscience clear?
About?
Over the last 60 episodes, have you always spoken facts?
Absolutely.
What about you, Saurabh?
No, we both have been speaking facts. It's you who has taken U-turns and U-turns and U-turns.
Your U-turns are now legendary. But tell me something. How was Chennai?
Good, Raj. The only thing was the humidity and all that was.
And how were you in
unbearable.
Chennai?
I fell a little ill during my trip there.
Hmm.
Couldn't follow the first test completely, but I got.
Why you so...
I got the gist of what
Where's
happened.
the energy?
I got the gist of what happened in Dominica.
You got the gist of what
Yeah,
happened in Dominica.
like how R Ashwin bounced back, how the Chennai man was
Chennai, man.
How many
controversially
wickets- How many
dropped.
wickets did he pick?
12.
12 wickets.
Controversially dropped.
On a slow pitch.
Yeah.
But most of the other bowlers struggled, by the way.
Yes.
West Indies, obviously, big time.
Yeah.
India's pacers didn't have much to do. Jadeja was impressive in patches only. I mean, I don't know how many of our listeners and our viewers even watched the test overnight. Frankly, before we get to R Ashwin, the quality of cricket was so poor.
Yes.
Had it not been my profession, I wouldn't have watched those 3 days of test cricket.
Yes.
On day 2, I fell asleep with about 60 minutes to left in the last hour. I fell asleep. I couldn't take it anymore.
Raj, but what
It
do
was
you
that
think?
bad.
Is there only one way to play
No.
test cricket? Are we arguing that now?
No. I have seen comments where people are talking about baseball and attritional
That's
cricket
exactly
and
where
this
I
and
came,
that.
where I wanted to
But
come.
I'm just talking of the disparity between the two teams.
Yes.
West Indies' body language, even India's body language, Saurabh. They didn't look like they were very serious about it. Just steamrolled it.
Yeah.
That's not how Test cricket should be played. It should be more competitive. I mean, I don't have a problem with the kind of pitches that you're talking about. I don't think baseball is the only way to play Test cricket. I think India were sensational in the first edition of the World Test Championship. They played some real attritional cricket in England, Australia, where Test cricket went on for 5 days.
Yes.
Runs coming at 2.5, 2.7 runs.
naysayers of Indian cricket like you and him, if they lose the World Test Championship final, if they lose the World Test Championship final, it's a problem.
Just because I'm
Then
asking.
if you beat a team that in 3 days, it's a problem.
Before
else will
you
India turn
traveled
up?
to the West Indies,
How
you always
else-
knew that this
Yeah.
was the kind of tour where you're damned if you do, where you're damned if you
What
don't.
would you have been happy with, Raj, to see in the first test instead of how it
I
panned out?
nothing. I would have been happy with the World Test Championship victory.
Yes.
Nah, that is
Nothing
not,
about
that
this
has
test
not
match is
happened.
going to change my opinion
you
about
want to
this
say
team.
that your team cannot deliver that.
No, what I'm saying is,
you're saying
at
that.
the start of a new cycle, India go to the West Indies and smash a test team in 3 days. And you
Oh
guys
my
are complaining
goodness.
about it.
Seriously, a team which is not,
No,
the same team.
is it India's fault?
But the cricket...
Did you watch those 3 days of Test cricket?
In patches.
So you did not watch. I was there in shift for 3 days. I was there. I watched the game. I will say one simple thing.
Yeah.
That disparity between the two Test teams, the struggle of West Indies to score runs, to pick wickets, and the way they wasted their
Now,
reviews.
what is
everything.
India's fault? Like India's body language.
Again,
How
what is
else-
it? Why is it always about faults and agreements and disagreements?
I am asking you, Raj. You
It is
only
not
said
about
India
faults.
didn't turn up. The body language was not there.
No, you
What
did not
do you
even
mean
let
by
me
that?
complete what I had to say. You didn't even let me finish. I said West Indies' body language was very defeatist.
Yes.
India's body language was very cavalier, almost very, it's
How
like
else would they have played that test match?
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
They came there trying to boss around, boss the West Indies in Dominica. Barely a month after that horrible performance. Now, my problem is that, you have lost that momentum of winning test matches overseas. You went to South Africa, you had an advantage, you slipped. England, you had an advantage. In the rescheduled test match, you slipped. You weren't even competitive in the WTC final.
Yes.
Then you go to the West Indies. You're asking me whether any questions have been answered. What questions? The only question is, Saurabh, I'll come to you, then I'll come to you, Akshay, is the curious case of R Ashwin.
Okay.
It's crazy. World's number one test bowler, number two all-rounder, didn't play in England, 2021, did not play in the World Test Championship final. Does he have such a poor record in England? Then he turns up for the West Indies Test match, 12 wickets, polishes it off. By far the best bowler, not just across. I mean, even in India, how many of these Indian bowlers came anywhere close to Ashwin's guile?
Obviously, R Ashwin has played over 93 test matches. He has a bowling average of 23, picked up more than 450 wickets, 490 wickets, more than 490 wickets. And he has also scored runs at an average of over 26.
Yeah.
More than 3,000 runs in test cricket. What else, what more he should do to play test cricket regularly? You drop him for World Test Championship final. When he was at the top in that Border Gavaskar trophy,
against the same Australian
side, he was actually ruling their mind that they actually hired a net bowler who was bowling like Ashwin. And the moment you go and play a title clash against Australia, you dropped him. This guy, he could have taken it in a different way. He comes back and he picks up wickets as if he never went away, even for that one test match. I mean, R Ashwin is right now your biggest match winner in test cricket. I don't think any of you will disagree with this fact.
Not at all.
Is he the greatest match winner since Anil Kumble? Would you say so in Test cricket?
Yeah. How many Man of the Series has he won already? 10 Man of the Series awards. Another good Test match in the second, and he'll probably end up winning another Man of the Series.
Is he a bigger match winner than some say the likes of Virat Kohli, Chiteshwar Pujara?
Yes,
he is.
In Test cricket at home, I mean, how many? Come on, I mean, not just the runs, like wickets, like you mentioned, runs, 500s, 400s.
How can you don't have to go long back. You saw what happened in Bangladesh. Along with Shreyas Iyer, it was R Ashwin who helped you win that test match. You were losing to Bangladesh.
No, my problem is, no disrespect to Ravindra Jadeja, but every time India picked Jadeja ahead of Ashwin, is it to bolster the batting line?
Yes, absolutely.
Because you got to pick the better bowler.
So you are saying that because our top order is not performing, you drop R Ashwin.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what has happened.
That is what's happening, actually.
Exactly.
But you haven't done anything to address that problem also.
No, what will you do? You'll drop Pujara every now and then. You'll drop Rahane every now and then. Rahane comes back, you'll name him vice captain.
Yeah.
But some of the others will keep getting away. Rohit Sharma will score 100 against the West Indies.
Yeah.
And you'll be okay with it. Virat Kohli will play 76, make 76 against the West Indies, and then he'll start mocking their number 11.
Are you happy with what Virat Kohli did in this match, 76?
See, in terms of runs, it was a very gritty knock. You can't fault Virat Kohli for the drop catches. Like you saw how someone like Shubman Gill, someone like Ajinkya Rahane did when they tried to, go from the word go. Shubman Gill didn't look convincing at all at number 3.
You know what my problem with Virat Kohli?
Jomel Woriken got the wicket.
You know what my problem with Virat Kohli right now is? When Virat Kohli is not in his prime form, we all know this. When Virat Kohli was the batter he is known to be, he will give you the impression that he will take on any bowler in the world. Right now, he is struggling to make every run in Test cricket. Even the 76, I am not saying it was a bad innings. No, I am not saying it. It was not a Virat Kohli kind of knock. He has not been playing his kind of knocks in last 3-4 years, which India need. Everywhere you see a guy like Steve Smith steps up, Joe Root steps up. Virat Kohli has gone behind.
But this is not so much about Virat Kohli or about any of the other batters. I mean, weak opposition or not, slow pitch or not, the batters have to get their runs. They got their runs. Fantastic debut for Yashasvi. Runs for Rohit, runs for Virat. But again, Rohit and Virat, you will question them because every time they go and fail on those big occasions and then they come and score those runs against the West Indies and everything like we keep discussing. Everything else is forgotten.
Yeah, nothing happened.
But the primary
But why do you want to take credit away from that knock?
Nobody's taking credit away.
Nobody's taking credit away.
That was a difficult pitch.
The main problem is the Indian team's mindset around R Ashwin. Look at Australia. Look at Nathan Lyon. He hadn't missed a test match for 10 years no matter where they were playing. Right? They also had Ashton Agar. Fine, he's not part of the team anymore.
Swipson.
I mean, I'm saying that, my point is Agar is a much better batsman than Nathan Lyon.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean Australia have gone in with Ashton Agar ahead of Nathan Lyon. They wouldn't do that. You pick your best batters and your best bowlers. Again, Jadeja has been one of the leading match winners for India across formats for the last many years. But Ashwin, I mean, he's closing in on what, 500 Test wickets. This man, 486 wickets from 93 Test matches, commendable. And every time I look at his numbers and every time I look at those, how long has he held on to the number 1 position, Test bowler, number 2 all rounder, and does the Indian team not give Ashwin the respect he deserves? Do you think it's a matter of respect now?
I don't think so, Raj, because
Given his commitment, he goes and plays
exactly,
the TNPL, so many local leagues in Tamil Nadu.
He has already spoken about how he has to keep proving himself in every series. A number 1 bowler, a
at
leading
36
wicket
after 12 years, after playing nearly 100 Test matches.
And Saurabh spoke about Virat Kohli not looking at his best. Trying to dominate, that dominant Virat Kohli who would look like he would take on any bowler. When Ashwin comes into the middle, you expect something to happen every delivery.
And it does
Exactly.
And the way he sets up the bat, even in Dominica, he was getting the drift. He was getting that, he was getting that guy. He was beating the batters off the air, off the pitch. That phenomena of him,
And to do that on a lifeless pitch.
exactly.
To do that, I mean, Rahim Cornwall was impressive, but in brief patches. Warwick in brief patches. Jadeja, obviously, a lot more consistently. Didn't get wickets. I mean, I thought he was unlucky not to get a few more wickets. Ashwin was unbelievable even on that pitch. Unbelievable.
That kind of every ball is an event when he is out there, and I don't think we have given enough respect to what he has produced. The Indian team management hasn't given enough respect. When Kumble was there, I still remember, Raj, when Kumble was the head coach, he was quite particular in making Ashwin a proper, a middle order batter. He tried him at number 6, number 7, but that didn't happen when Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli took over. They relied more on, and that also has to coincide with the top order failures, consistent top order failures.
Would you drop Virat Kohli, who's by the way not been in the best of form for the last 3.5 years, 4 years in Test cricket? Would you drop Virat Kohli for an extra bowler in bowling friendly conditions? Then why do that to your best bowler? Why do that to the best bowler in the world?
I mean, yes, Ashwin has been 93 Test matches. Have all those Test matches being played on spin-friendly tracks? No. He has picked wickets for you. He has scored runs for you everywhere around the world. Australia, England, West Indies, Bangladesh, India. What else? I mean, a guy like Ashwin, the cricket mind he has, the way he talks, he should have been in a leadership group. Captain or vice captain or whatever. But here he is. He performs, then he goes out, he comes back, he performs.
You mentioned a couple of these venues. Ashwin's role was not insignificant in 2020-2021 in Australia.
Yes, absolutely.
Not just that innings partnership with Hanuma, but even with the ball. I thought he was so good. He didn't pick up 25-30 wickets,
but he set the tone by getting Smith and Labuschagne.
Exactly.
He led by example.
And I thought he bowled brilliantly. Again, maybe had he been a little more fortunate, maybe he would have got a few more wickets. But I thought he was so good. He was so good.
Did he deserve India captaincy at any time? Or maybe vice captaincy?
I don't know about his leadership on the field. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, yes, I agree. I will say one thing. He failed as a captain for Punjab Kings. He was not very good.
But again, different formats, different pressure.
You can't compare.
Virat Kohli was phenomenal as Test captain. He was horrible as RCB captain. So there are no comparisons. But again, I thought they had a terrific captain in Virat Kohli. I think by far he's been one of India's greatest Test captains, one of the greatest Test captains I've ever seen in so many years of covering cricket. So I don't think there are any grudges with that. But Rohit Sharma was perhaps a natural successor once Virat Kohli decided to step down.
That is something that I don't agree with.
Who else was there? You didn't?
Especially in Test cricket. Maybe, like we discussed a couple of episodes ago, maybe if Rahane were in form.
But would any other country leave R Ashwin out of these crucial Test matches? Had he had a player of Ashwin's caliber?
Pakistan maybe.
No, nobody would. Pakistan don't have any bowler of that caliber. That's a different thing.
We are so lucky to have an R Ashwin. We don't respect him. He never got the respect he deserves.
We keep talking about how spinners want to bowl on spin-friendly pitches. Obviously, they want to do that. Jimmy Anderson has bowled in these conditions in England. That doesn't make him a lesser bowler. Same with a lot of our modern-day batting rates. That doesn't make them lesser cricketers. Same with R Ashwin. I remember there was this same debate around Anil Kumble. He can only bowl on these friendly pitches in India. That man, legend, went to Australia and completely destroyed Australian lineups.
That 2003
Exactly.
series.
Exactly.
She was last series.
And it takes time. How successful have some of these top spinners, Muralitharan and Shane Warne, been
on their
in
first
India?
trips to
Nathan
South.
Lyon, in that case, in that sense, he should have ripped apart Indian batting lineups.
Yes.
And should have scripted one victory after another. It's not easy to do that consistently in India.
Yeah.
And when you go overseas, it takes time. So that shows you this kind of skill factor that's involved. R Ashwin at 36, he's beginning to show that he can be so impactful. And by the way, he's always had good numbers in the West
But
Indies.
tell me something, how long does he have left in him?
I hope
like a
another
couple more
couple of
years.
years at least. I hope.
2 more years, 2, 3.
Another World Test Championship finally sits out and then his career is over. You're playing at Lords, the next World Test Championship final. There are signs
And
already
I
that
also
R
don't-
Ashwin might not play that
Are
test
there
match.
signs of India making it to the WTC final?
exactly.
Just one test match. I
They
mean,
won a resounding test match
Optimism.
against the West Indies.
No, South Africa tour awaits you.
Yeah, South Africa.
We'll
tour.
see what
England
happens.
are going to come home. And by the way, you're also going to Australia
Yeah.
in this cycle.
And this
Australia,
this Australian test side is not going to be the same.
Yeah,
That'll be a
one that
fascinating
lost at Leeds.
this
And one
Indian
two
team,
matches
by the
before
way,
that.
whatever the similarities and differences are at the end of the next year,
Yeah,
the one major difference will be no Virat Kohli as captain, no Ajinkya Rahane as captain.
Yes, absolutely.
You'll have to see
but if
whether-
you look at
if
if you
any
want
of
to
them
look
is
at the
also the playing
positives,
11.
if you want to look at the positives, Yashasvi Jaiswal at the start of a new World Test Championship
Yeah.
cycle,
Yes.
a lot of good things was said about him after that. The domestic run and the IPL.
IPL run.
And a lot of people were expecting. It was not an easy pitch. The Dominica pitch was not an easy pitch
You
to
needed
bat.
a lot of concentration, and
Yes.
you needed to cut down your natural flair.
Yeah. And young Jaiswal, did he show it enough? Did
I
he show
thought so.
enough
I
of it?
thought so because obviously, first off, people always look at IPL numbers, and
Yeah.
let's also get the record straight. Yashasvi Jaiswal has been very impressive in the few domestic matches that he's played, in the few Ranji Trophy matches, there were 15 or so, a little more than a dozen Ranji matches. Great conversion rate. 900s and 2 half centuries before
Yes.
this, right? He's known to score big runs. He's known to score them at a fairly aggressive clip.
Yeah.
IPL again, the way he started off those first overs.
Yeah.
Again, he was, he caught the limelight because of that. I thought he curtailed his natural game.
Yes,
and
he
that's what made it look so special because some of the balls just weren't coming up.
Yeah.
There was grip. I thought Rakeem Conway, like I said, he bowled very, very well in patches.
Yeah.
Alzari Joseph, very disappointing.
Yes.
But he did test Jaiswal early on. There were a
Kemar
few
Roach
plays. Kemar Roach
disappointing.
was very not his usual self.
Yeah.
Because I think they were a little taken aback by the pitch. I was taken aback by the pitch. Look at the West Indies pace lineup. You would have probably thought a more
Yeah.
a quicker surface was on the cards. Wasn't to be. But I thought Jaiswal, yes. Again, West Indies, you'd say. But 171 on debut. You look at all the debut centurions in the recent past. All of them from Mumbai, by the way. The last 4 debut centurions from Mumbai. Prithvi Shaw, unfortunately, his kind of wavered away. Rohit Sharma got a 100 on debut.
Yeah.
Before that, Shikhar Dhawan. So they've all had fruitful careers, right? Shreyas Iyer, again, recovering from an injury. Immense talent. So I think good signs for the future.
We were already talking about, South Africa series and the next Australia tour and all that. Do you think Yashasvi will be a good fit? Like, do you see a long-term opener in Yashasvi Jaiswal?
I'll tell you why I see one in him. Technically, he's sound. He knows when to hold back, right? Test cricket. I mean, you learn the ropes of the game as and when you grow. I mean, Virat Kohli wasn't this finished
Yeah.
when he started off. So there will be. I remember Virat Kohli's debut innings in one-day cricket. He was all at sea against that superb Sri Lankan bowling lineup. But look at the way he evolved over the years. Same with Tendulkar. I mean, Tendulkar was 16, right? He was a child when he went to play in Pakistan and obviously retired as a giant of the game. But yes, you will learn. And Jaiswal is again only 21. I liked his temperament. I liked his temperament, and I like the way he holds back against the pacers, the way he tackles on the spinners.
And even those short balls, the way he handles them.
And he looks to punish those short balls. And I like his footwork. There's always intent. Even when he's defending, even when he's looking to rotate the strike, there is always intent with what Yashasvi does. So that's what I like about that guy. And that's what you need in an opener. But when you're talking about South Africa, Australia, England, there'll be different challenges.
Yeah, and if you ask me about this guy's future, so I remember covering him in that 2020 Under-19 World Cup. That time also he was scoring runs, but the amount of shots he has now in his era, that time he did not have those kind of shots. He has gone behind the scenes, evolved his power game and everything. So he's one of those cricketers who goes behind the scenes and works hard for everything that's coming ahead. He played Vijay Hazare Trophy, Ranji Trophy. He played in IPL. You will see a different version of Jaiswal, in every year he has played. In last 4-5 years, he has been in the limelight. So in the upcoming series and whatever he's going to play, I think he's going to go behind the scenes again. He's going to make improvement to his game day by day. He's one of those cricketers.
So should we just critic the selectors for once, Raj? Where there were a lot of noise about
They were under
Easwaran
pressure. They were
Easwaran
also
not
under
getting
pressure.
picked,
I mean,
Prem Panchal not
you
getting
had
picked.
to had to make a statement. So you made the statement by dropping Pujara. Now, who do you play at number 3? Shubman Gill apparently wanted to play in that position. He told Rahul Dravid, and that's how it all came around. But we had discussed that on the sledging room as well, that Gill looks like a natural successor at that number 3 position, because that's where he's batted for most of his career before he debuted for India. So Jaiswal, again, a long term, he probably wants to be a career opener. So there he is, and that's where he plays in the domestic format as well. That's where he plays in the IPL as well. Again, great technique, great temperament. Because, a lot of people keep talking about technique and front foot play and how, you leave the one outside the off stump. But I think I look at the temperament of cricketers, because had it not been the case, MS Dhoni wouldn't have survived Test cricket at all. I mean, he was nowhere as solid as, say, Sanjay Manjrekar or Rahul Dravid. But he scored runs in Test cricket. He scored a double century for what it's worth against the Australians. So, more than that, Steve Smith, by the way, he got his own technique out. One of the most solid cricketers.
Started as a leg spinner, and you see where he is now.
Exactly. And
One of the
again,
greatest Test batters ever.
you wouldn't say it's orthodox.
Someone like a Graham Smith, for instance. He didn't have a great technique.
Yes.
He wasn't great to watch. But he got
saw
runs.
the amount of runs he scored, double centuries and double centuries.
Raj, coming
I'm
to
worried
that,
about Shubman Gill, though.
Yes, exactly.
Worried about Shubman, not on the basis of one innings.
But if
and,
he has a couple of failures, would you persist with him, or would you have the temptation of
I'll tell
bringing
you
back
why I
Pujara?
said I'm worried about Shubman Gill. Because he chose to bat at number 3, according to Rohit Sharma. Again, I wouldn't look into, even if he fails in the second Test match, I wouldn't look into it. Look to.
Then you have the South Africa series straight away.
And the way this team has changed and chopped, that's what my concern is. If you want a regular number 3, give him a long rope and tell him that, for the next year, establish yourself.
What if Pujara scores
Exactly.
runs?
That is what I'm
What if
thinking.
Pujara scores runs in domestic cricket?
So-
you have a young Shubman Gill at number 3. That's where you're putting him under pressure.
Today in the morning, our batting coach, India's batting coach, Vikram Rathore, came out and said, India needs the experience of Ajinkya Rahane in South Africa.
Yeah, but he also Go ahead.
So Rahane scored runs in that one World Test Championship final. He also failed in this first test against West Indies. What if Pujara scores tons of runs in next 5-6
But
months?
Vikram Rathore also said that we are willing to be patient with someone like Shubman Gill.
Yeah.
And Shubman there is no dearth of hard work is the line that he used when it comes to Shubman Gill. Maybe it's time for Rohit
No, but it's
Sharma.
not about, again, it's not about hard work. It's not about your presence. My point is exactly with Pujara, if he starts to score consistently in domestic cricket, if Gill has a couple of failures here and there, what are you looking at? Because, you have made a very chaotic arrangement now. You drop Rahane. You brought him back as vice captain. Now Shubman Gill, is he going to keep looking over his shoulder?
Yes.
Shreyas Iyer
There
is
Shreyas
also
Iyer.
coming back.
I think that there's another one there for the offing. Hanuma Vihari was considered as a number 3 shortly.
So, had a good Duleep Trophy final.
Exactly. So you don't want your youngsters to be looking behind their backs, looking over their shoulders, and you also don't want your seniors to be in a catch-22 situation. You don't know where you are tomorrow. What happens if I do this? What happens if I don't do this? So. That's why I'm worried about Shubman Gill. That's why I'm worried about the number 3 position now. And that is a very critical position.
And for the first time, we are having a kind of a little aggressive batter at number 3 after Pujara and Rahul Dravid. Like, not aggressive in the sense, in terms of the rate at which they score runs.
He is.
Maybe Gill has to go back and work about starting against spin. He has always started against the new ball against the Pacers.
Not always. I mean, just a few test matches for India.
Yeah,
you look at his domestic performances, it's number 3. India is number 3.
Yeah.
And if we see, a guy like Virat Kohli, when he started playing Test cricket, he was not as great. He failed on a couple of occasions. He had a horrendous 2014 England series, but the team management backed him. So you need to back your players. And Gill has been performing across formats. He scored in IPL, scored in the ODI series against New Zealand.
ODI double 100, T20 100.
T20 100. So you need to back him if you want him to be your... And the main point, as he pointed out, is Indian team looking at the team for the future with that World Test Championship final? If we qualify, who is going to be our team? What is going to be our top order? Our captain, same old players or a new young Indian team, young blood?
Talking about young blood, Raj, did you have a look at the Asian Games
I
squad?
was coming to that.
Yeah,
Ruturaj Gaikwad is your captain.
yeah,
I think it's a fairly impressive team.
yeah. But why no Shikhar Dhawan there? Like he has been.
There was word, right, that
Maybe,
he might
yeah.
be captain. But I think it showcases your depth.
But
Gaikwad is a young cricketer who's done well, consistently well for Chennai Super Kings over the last 3 seasons, shown some spark. You have someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal, who's obviously a potent threat in T20 cricket. But you need these cricketers to be in fine fettle for the next phase of T20 cricket. Maybe
Shivam Dubey, I think, got a much deserved.
I wanted to ask both of
recall.
you, does this mean it's end of the call for Shikhar Dhawan?
He's being seen as a backup opener for the World Cup.
says who?
Asian Games, by the way, Asian Games and the World Cup, a couple of matches might overlap.
If India reach the final of the Asian Games,
Yeah.
and
Then
then that
have
might
Two Indian teams playing on the same
correspond
day.
with the
India,
India.
Australia in Bengaluru.
India's first World Cup
Two
game.
very
So I think
impactful
that
matches.
decision, Shikhar Dhawan has been kept in mind by the selector as backup opener.
on
Something-
what ground, on what basis?
experience? What if someone's not available?
Sometimes the way Akshay
Because
talks about certain things is
a
he's just
certain
heard.
Ruturaj
he's
Gaikwad,
just had
Ruturaj
word with the
Gaikwad is
selector.
going to the Asian Games.
Yeah.
Yashasvi Jaiswal is in the Asian Games. Rahul Tripathi is in the Asian
But
Games.
Dhawan, by the way, what has he done?
When did he last play for India?
What has he done to even merit a call up to the?
Do you remember Akshay?
You know, he has.
You don't remember when he last played for
He
India?
has led India well.
You know, I think it's a very good team because in the '98 Commonwealth Games, India had sent this cricket team, Tendulkar and Anil Kumble, and then they immediately had to fly to Canada to play that bilateral tour series against Pakistan. That was a yearly feature around that time. India didn't do well. Kumble obviously was very, very good for the Indians in the Commonwealth Games. But now you don't need any of your stars, your first 11 stars to be there. Obviously, they'll be parallelly playing at the World Cup. Had that World Cup not been played at that time, you would have seen a few more of these stars.
But I am amazed at the depth of this, this team. You have to give it to that because other Asian teams haven't announced their Asia Cup squad yet, Asian Games squad yet.
This depth is impressive, but what is also a little depressing is when you see the same faces coming up and turning for the main team.
But for instance, someone like Deepak Hooda, he's in the reserves of the Asian Games. That is a sad fall.
Deepak Hooda has missed his own. He's messed up his own
performed.
chances.
Yeah.
When you talk about young team, there is an Asia Cup Imagine tournament going on right now.
Yeah.
India have sent a young team under Yazdul. You saw the team of Pakistan.
Yeah.
They have included first team players in that team.
Because they don't have that.
They don't have that depth.
What if? Where will Babar play? Will he play the World Cup or will he play the Asian Games? I'm just asking. If they are serious
I can't
about,
believe you just asked that.
Yeah.
So you think Babar Azam is not good enough to lead Pakistan in ODI World Cup?
Or else, what if Ruturaj wins an ACC event and then India don't win the ICC event? You never know.
Why
These
you
things.
so negative?
Ifs and buts.
Yeah, ifs and buts.
Too
Okay.
much to think about.
Yeah.
Quickly, also, before, we're almost running out of time. Jimmy Anderson, last phase of his career. Has he been brought back to play in Manchester to say goodbye?
I think this is going to be his last test is Manchester, his home ground.
For the uninitiated, the fourth and the penultimate test of
Because
an Ashes series which has been ridden with ugliness
Yeah.
from English crowds and English players complaining of,
But
whatever.
Anderson has a very good record in Manchester, at Old Trafford, although he has not been able to.
But what is his record? How good is it? You just told me that he still needs 3 wickets to
yeah,
get to 50 Ashes wickets at home.
Yeah, he has taken 47.
How good is it at Manchester? What is his record?
I think he has picked up around 25-27 wickets in Ashes at Manchester.
Only in Manchester.
Yeah.
What has he done? I mean,
But but you have replaced him with he replaced
But I think
Ollie
now
Robinson. Good
this looks a better lineup when you have Mark Wood, Chris Wokes, Stuart Broad and James Anderson.
again, very same. I mean,
But
Mark Wood will
when you-
bring
when
the
you-
pace.
when you
Mark
had-
Wood will bring
yeah.
the pace. Stuart
Yeah.
Broad.
Without Wood and Wokes, you had Ollie Robinson, James Anderson,
And
Stuart
Robinson
Broad.
was talking too much. I think. Nobody likes people who talk too much.
But
I mean,
they
the Australians were
walked the
starting to
talk.
mock
But they
him.
walked the talk.
In
They
that
have won
one
the
test
third
match.
test. They are going to win the fourth test.
You know. I will for Akshay. I will lay it down.
Yeah.
Do you know when did England win an Ashes test in Manchester last time.
History, why are we...
You know, 1981 was the series when England last won an Ashes test in Manchester.
If we are looking
But
at history...
this England team might prefer conditions like Manchester. Because remember,
flat.
the ball coming onto the bat.
A couple of days into the year, there was no grass.
Shorter
That
boundaries.
was something that was there.
Yeah, Joe
Jimmy
Root
Anderson might not like bowling here again, I think.
No, but again the shorter
Joe Root
boundaries,
love
they might
batting
just...
Yeah. Joe Root, yeah.
You know, Crawley and Root and Bairstow down the order.
But
Harry broke somewhere.
Steve Smith also loves batting here.
Imagine Moeen Ali batting at number 3.
By the way, do you know the test average of Moeen Ali at number 3? He averages 11.6.
Yeah.
I mean, he's...
How much does he average in test cricket anyway? I mean, to be playing at number 11, this is number 3 in that position. Straight up from number 8 to number 3. That's bizarre.
This England test team is bizarre. They're going to lose this series.
Maybe 3-1 or bring back someone like
3-1 or 4-1, something like this.
Who is the Moeen Ali equivalent for India in test cricket?
I think no one. I mean, Moeen Ali has had a start-stop career. It's just fascinating to see that England actually, the captain actually called...
Moeen Ali to England is what Ramesh was to Indian cricket.
No, but England cricket, on the face of it, look so professional with the director of cricket, with this and that, and test cricket, baseball. They're calling a Moeen Ali to play test cricket. Now, Ben Stokes apparently might reverse his retirement decision to play the World Cup. I don't know. I mean, there is talk. But, it's just...
At the end of the day, it's about winning.
No, it's not just about
when
winning.
you win ICC trophies,
in a way.
You don't get to ask... You don't have to...
You should ask who's the equivalent of Tamim Iqbal and Ben Stokes and Moeen Ali in Indian cricket. Who could make a U-turn and suddenly... Would you want that to be... Who would you want that equivalent to be? MS Dhoni?
I don't think that is going to happen.
Let's take on as captain.
No, I want one...
Because there is no Moeen Ali.
I want
There's no
one,
Moeen Ali.
I want one comeback.
If I could
bring back Virat Kohli as captain across all formats.
And lose again in the semi-finals.
Let's see.
I'll tell you what. I'll drop this bombshell on the Sledging Room. I miss Virat Kohli, the test captain.
Test captain, yes.
We all miss.
I miss him.
Yeah. But I'd rather take Ajinkya Rahane leading the team till the end of the cycle now.
Yeah, he's a vice captain. You never know. Rohit is dropped or injured.
What if he fails to perform in next 2 test matches?
Then he'll have a new vice captain.
Pujara coming back.
I don't know. R Ashwin or Kohli. I don't know. I mean,
Nobody knows that.
Nobody knows what's going on.
We have a Ruturaj Gaikwad waiting in the wings to take up some spot.
Okay, quickly before we go though.
Yeah.
India versus West Indies, a 100th test match between them.
Yeah.
Can the West Indies stage a fight back? What is the best chance? Is it to make a quick, fast, fiery, spicy pitch and then hope for the Indian batters to make mistakes?
More than best chance, at least some respite for the West Indies bowlers.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfair to expect them to pick up wickets on a rank turner.
Yeah.
Give them a fast pitch.
But it wasn't a rank turner. The first pitch it was slow,
sluggish. Yeah.
But that's where the likes of R Ashwin will thrive.
Give them a fast pitch. Ask their pacers to, go aggressive, bounce out Indian batters.
So says the naysayer of Indian cricket. But do you think it's a good...
Yeah.
I don't think West Indies are going to make a comeback.
Yeah, that is there.
I hope they're more competitive.
Yeah.
And
because if you saw the first match, there was no morale. They did not look like the team who could play and win a test match.
For every Indian fan who watched this test match, they could have watched it for a couple of hours, switched off the television sets, gone back, then come back the next morning to check scores on indiatoday.in. But there is no such luck for us when it comes to that. You have to sit through the motions.
That's why I'm expecting a far more competitive test match.
Yes.
Yeah, we all
because
want
if you
that
have
to
to
happen.
sit through, might as well watch a better test match at that time of night.
Exactly.
But that's that. That's all that we have on the Sledging Room. The 60th episode, like I said, nice round figure. 16. Episode number 16. If you want to reach out to us, you know what to do. You can email us on pods@indiatoday.com or you could ping us on 8588966996. And you can, of course, rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're watching the Sledging Room on or listening to us. And of course, there you see the Facebook and the Instagram and the Twitter handles on your screen. So please be sure to come. Leave your comments. Let us know how we're doing, because there are so many fascinating comments, by the way, on sports on our YouTube channels. Comparing us to probably some of the sanest voices in Indian cricket. In the journalism.
Today we have not peddled a lot of agenda about Virat Kohli also.
Akshay has not peddled a lot of agenda.
Because you've just come back
Akshay wanted to
with a
play
lot
it
of
for
Mysore
himself.
Pak from Chennai and some good coffee, I must say.
Yeah, very good coffee.
I couldn't eat those sweets because I'm off it, but I like your spirit and I like the coffee. That's that then. Thank you so much for joining us. You can always come back to us And like I said, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, we're everywhere. And also on YouTube, where you can catch us every Wednesday and Thursday. Thank you. Have a great week ahead.